The WNBA is hilarious. Is absolutely hilarious. I'm gonna be honest, because you have now got coaches fined for not even saying a word about the ref. They were asked in the comments and said, "I agree with them." That is essentially what they said. Is yeah, I agree with them. I agree. Those 2 words of "I agree" is now getting somebody fined.
The WNBA has officially crossed the line. Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever, didn't trash a referee, didn't launch a profanity-laced tirade, didn't storm off the podium. All she said was, "I agree." And for that, the league hit her with a fine. Yes, you heard that right. A coach was fined for 2 words, "I agree." This is the same league that constantly preaches transparency, accountability, and empowerment. Yet here we are, coaches being punished not for attacking referees, but for quietly supporting another coach's concerns about officiating. And Stephanie White isn't alone.
You comfortable with how physical this series has been? And the other series seemed even more physical.
Well, I already got fined for supporting Cheryl, so yeah, which I think is crazy. But look, I think there's nothing that we want more than just consistency.
Like, she's just in shock. I already got fined for supporting Cheryl. Like, you're now in a situation where Stephanie White, the coach of the Indiana Fever,
Becky Hammon has been fined. Cheryl Reeve has been fined. One by one, the WNBA is slapping head coaches with penalties for even hinting at what fans and players are already whispering. The officiating is wildly inconsistent. This isn't just about one fine. This is about a league that looks more defensive of its referees than of its own credibility. It's about a culture where no comment is safer than honesty. And if you think that's healthy for the game, think again. Because every time the WNBA does this, it chips away at trust. Fans lose faith. Coaches go silent, players roll their eyes, and the league looks like it's running a PR machine instead of a sport. So let's break it down. Why was Stephanie White fined? How deep does this go? And what does it say about the future of the WNBA?
Is out here getting fined, and all she said was, at some point there has to be some accountability. Becky Hammon, I'm guessing, also got fined for saying, from what I heard, she did not tell a lie. In my opinion, that's kind of crazy. Fining for that is not kind of crazy, is real crazy. Is really, really crazy. But at the end of the day, this is the WNBA. This is the WNBA, and we just have to laugh. We just have to laugh at it all.
Stick around, because you're not going to believe how bad this actually looks. To understand how ridiculous this whole thing is, you've got to rewind just a little. The tension started when Cheryl Reeve, head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, openly criticized the officiating after a brutally physical playoff game. She didn't hold back. She said what nearly everyone watching was already thinking. The referees were missing calls, letting chaos take over, and players were paying the price. Now, in most sports leagues, coaches get fined when they outright blast referees. It's a way of keeping things under control, sure.
They are always going to brush something under the rug. They're always going to pretend it's the coach's fault, it's the player's fault, it's the viewer's fault, it's everyone else's fault. But at the end of the day, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous what this league is doing. The league are actually fining coaches for defending other coaches. But I think the Indiana Fever may end up with the record for the most fines in a WNBA season. They might, as a team, get fined a whole $5,000.
Reeve's comments weren't some unhinged rant. They were measured, direct, honest. And instead of the WNBA saying, okay, maybe we need to look at this, the league did what it always seems to do. It circled the wagons around the refs. So when reporters later asked Stephanie,
I'm curious what you thought of what Cheryl Reeve had to say after Game 2 in Phoenix, or Game 3 in Phoenix, and the reaction to it.
I mean, I think that she made a lot of valid points. A lot of the same kind of conversations are happening. It's happening from every team, from every franchise, from every coach, from every player. And I think at some point there has to be some accountability.
That's what mad. She got fined for that. She got fined for that.
think about that. 3 of the league's top coaches fined not for swearing, not for disrespecting refs, but for simply agreeing that the officiating needs consistency. And that's where the WNBA's credibility problem really begins. So let's break this down step by step, because the more you look at it, the more insane it gets. Step 1. Cheryl Reeve criticizes the officiating. Whether you agree with her or not, she voiced a concern that plenty of fans and players shared. That's part of her job, to stand up for her team when the game feels unfair. Fine. She gets fined. That's the league drawing a line. Step 2. Stephanie White gets asked about it. She doesn't dodge. She doesn't go on a rant. She just says, I already got fined for supporting Cheryl. At some point, there has to be accountability. That's her entire answer. Nothing inflammatory, nothing personal. No referee's name even mentioned. And for that, she gets slapped with a fine. Step 3. Becky Hammon enters the chat. She says, from what I heard, she did not tell a lie. That's not even criticism. That's validation. That's agreement. And guess what? Another fine. So now, the WNBA isn't just policing criticism, it's policing agreement. They're essentially saying, don't echo another coach. Don't validate what was said. Pretend you didn't hear it. Pretend you don't have an opinion. And here's the kicker. It's not like coaches are out here trying to stir drama. They're answering direct questions from the media. What do you expect them to do? Say, no comment to every single thing. Imagine being punished simply for not disagreeing. That's the box these coaches are being shoved into. This isn't accountability. This is image control. The league isn't protecting fairness, it's protecting optics. And that's where the whole thing falls apart. Here's where this whole fiasco really blows up. The WNBA wants fans to take it seriously. It wants networks to invest. It wants sponsors to pour money in. It wants to stand shoulder to shoulder with the NBA in terms of legitimacy. But how can you claim legitimacy when you're literally punishing coaches for honesty? Think about the contradiction here. The league constantly says it values player and coach voices. It constantly markets itself as authentic and empowering. Yet the moment the overly physical play that sometimes borders on dangerous. Instead of addressing the issue, the league is creating a culture of silence. Referees face no accountability, coaches face financial penalties, and players? They're stuck in the middle, wondering if speaking up will cost them a paycheck too. Meanwhile, the league keeps acting like the refs are untouchable. Why? Because admitting mistakes would hurt their image. But let me tell you, pretending everything is fine is what's really hurting their image. Fans would respect transparency way more than this smoke and mirrors routine. So now we're at a boiling point. Coaches feel gagged, fans feel insulted, and the WNBA looks like it's more worried about controlling the narrative than fixing the problem. And the worst part? Every fine makes the league look weaker, not stronger. Instead of authority, it reeks of insecurity. Instead of protecting the game, it's protecting the facade. Here's the thing about officiating. It's hard. Nobody's denying that. Basketball moves at lightning speed. Angles can be deceiving. One play looks clean in real time, then dirty in slow motion. Referees are human, and mistakes will happen. But here's the reality. Coaches and players know when a game is being called inconsistently. They know when physical play is allowed 1 minute and whistled the next. They know when star players get different treatment than rookies. They feel it, they live it, and fans see it too. That's why this whole fine situation stings even more. Stephanie White wasn't asking for favoritism. She wasn't demanding the refs bail her team out. She was asking for consistency. She was saying, let us know the standard so we can coach to it. That's not controversial. That's common sense. And think about the psychology here. Coaches like White and Hammon aren't just venting. They're protecting their players. When calls get missed, when games turn into wrestling matches, it's the athletes who pay the price. With injuries, with frustration, with momentum swings that could end a season. I'll be honest with you, I've been around basketball. I've seen refs admit they had an off night. That's human. But when the league itself refuses to admit that mistakes happen, it creates this bizarre illusion that referees are infallible. And everyone knows that's a lie. So what's the result? Coaches get fined, refs face zero consequences, and the same issues. Here's why this matters so much more than just a couple $1,000s in fines. The WNBA is at a crossroads. For the first time in years, the league has real momentum. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and other rising stars are pulling in viewership numbers we've never seen before. Sponsors are paying attention. Networks are giving the league prime slots. This is the moment the WNBA has been waiting for. And yet, right in the middle of this surge, the league is shooting itself in the foot with headlines like, "Coach fined for saying, I agree." That doesn't scream professionalism. That doesn't scream growth. That screams insecurity. Fans who are just discovering the WNBA through Clark or Reese aren't going to care about the league's PR spin. They're going to see coaches being silenced and refs being protected, and they're going to ask, is this a serious league, or is it just a controlled spectacle? And let's not forget the players. If coaches are scared to speak out, how long before players start muzzling themselves too? How long before the stars who are bringing in all this attention decide the league doesn't respect their voices? That's a dangerous game to play when you're trying to build loyalty and trust. Even from a business perspective, this is a mess. Corporate partners don't like controversy, but they hate incompetence even more. If the league keeps piling up fines and ignoring accountability, eventually those partners will think twice. At the end of the day, the WNBA can't have it both ways. You can't market yourself as bold, authentic, and progressive while silencing the very people who make the league watchable. You can't claim empowerment while punishing honesty. That contradiction will catch up, and when it does, it won't just hurt the coaches, it'll hurt the entire league. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Stephanie White, or Cheryl Reeve, or Becky Hammon. This is about the soul of the WNBA, a league that claims to stand for honesty, equality, and empowerment, is now punishing the very people who dare to live by those values. Think about how crazy that is. Stephanie White didn't disrespect anyone. She didn't cross a line. She simply agreed with another coach and asked for accountability. And that was enough to get fined. That's not leadership from the league office. That's fear. That's insecurity. That's protecting optics instead of protecting. Every fine chips away at credibility. Every gag order fuels more frustration. And every time the league chooses silence over accountability, it proves that it doesn't trust its own foundation. So here's the bottom line. If the WNBA truly wants to be taken seriously, it has to stop treating honesty like a crime. Coaches shouldn't be punished for saying what everyone already knows. The league doesn't need more censorship. It needs transparency. It needs consistency. It needs courage. Until then, every fine, every gag, every headline like this one is going to make the WNBA look less like a league on the rise and more like a league terrified of its own shadow. And if you think that's sustainable, well, just wait. The fans won't stay quiet forever. If you're with me, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more no-holds-barred WNBA coverage. Because trust me, this story is only getting started.